Hi everyone, I'm really sorry that I can't be here today. I've actually got another cold and we know the rules, which is staying home until we feel well and keeping our germs to ourselves. So we're now moving into the other main group of nutrients, which is micronutrients. So micronutrients are needed in small amounts and are there to make sure that our body functions properly. Okay. Now, I know from looking at your notes that some of you are better at taking notes than others. It's really important that you take notes from today's lesson. I understand that I have your book, so can you write it in another book, tear it out, and we'll glue it into your books on Wednesday. And I will be checking that you actually have written out some notes for this topic. It's really important that we do that because we know that that's really important in consolidating that information. Okay, so I would be writing in, the first thing I'd be writing in is micronutrients are required in small amounts and are there to make sure that our body functions properly. So I'd pause and write that down before we move on. Okay, so the learning intention for today's lesson is to describe the function and identify food sources of both fat and water-soluble vitamins. So we can classify vitamins in two types, fat-soluble and water-soluble. It is fat-soluble vitamins are transported around the body differently to water-soluble vitamins, which is why we can classify them that way. They also are stored differently as well. So I'll be writing down two classes of vitamins, fat-soluble and water-soluble. Now, as a general rule of thumb, colourful foods often rich in vitamins. And when we go through and we look at the different vitamins, you'll notice that quite a bit of colour is present. And this is why when I say eat the rainbow, that's what I'm talking about, to make sure that we get enough of our micronutrients. Okay, so fat-soluble vitamins are stored in the liver and can build up in toxic concentrations. So I'll be writing this down. It's very important because they can, and we will talk about this, what happens when we don't have enough or too much. So there are 4 types of fat-soluble vitamins: A, D, E, and K. Now, if you want to print this out and stick it in your book, that's fine. We are going to go through and summarize kind of the main points for these ones, so it's okay if you don't want to do that. Okay, our first main vitamin is vitamin A. It has 2 main functions, and you only need to remember 2, and both of them around protection. Protects eye tissue from infection or other tissues and skin from infection. So vitamin A is all about protection from infection, and you can find it in animal products like egg yolks, liver and dairy, or lots of colourful vegetables, so red and orange coloured fruits and vegetables, or leafy green vegetables. So I would be writing down the 2 purposes, which is protection of eye and eye tissue, other tissues and skin from infection, and at least 1 animal source of that vitamin and a plant source. So our next vitamin is vitamin D, and it's all about healthy bones. So vitamin D helps to the absorption of calcium and phosphorus, which is what bones are made of. So it helps to boost the absorption and also maintains healthy bones and teeth. Okay, so vitamin D helps healthy bones and teeth in their development. You can find vitamin D in fatty fish like salmon and tuna, egg yolks, cheese and beef, or plant products like mushrooms, for example. So again, writing down the main function, which is to do with bone health and development, and an animal and a product and a food plant source. Okay, vitamin E helps to protect both red blood cells in terms of their function, and also protects other fats and vitamin A from being destroyed. Okay, so vitamin E is all about protection of what are the other vitamin, fats that are important, and red blood cells. Animal products include eggs and dairy products, and plant products include colourful fruits, vegetable oil like olive oil, or leafy green vegetables. So again, writing that down. And you can obviously pause the video as you do this and then resume when you're ready. Okay, vitamin K, which is our last fat-soluble vitamin, is involved in the process of blood clotting. So that's it. And you can get it from leafy green vegetables plus beans, soybeans, eggs, strawberries, meat, or fish oils. Okay, so our other type of vitamins are water-soluble vitamins. They aren't stored, they're actually excreted via urine in excess amount, which means that we need to be constantly consuming them, unlike their fat-soluble vitamins, which you could access from the liver if we weren't consuming enough. So we have our B group vitamins. They are essential for the metabolism of carbohydrates and fat in general, okay? So thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, folate, and B12 all help with the metabolism, which means the breakdown and access of energy from carbohydrates and protein, which are our macronutrients. Now, B12, on the other hand, is a B group vitamin, specifically helping with the formation of blood. Okay, so it's very important. Now, I am going to mention folate as well. So folate is often taken by pregnant women to make sure that the development of the baby, specifically the neural tube, is very important. So B group vitamins, essential for the accessing of carbohydrates and protein, and B12 specifically for the formation of blood, and folate specifically for the formation of neural tube in developing babies. Okay, so moving on to vitamin C. It doesn't actually help with colds. There's no evidence to suggest that vitamin C actually does that. It does, however, fight infection and promote wound healing. And it also maintains healthy skin, gums, teeth, blood vessels, and bones. So if you've heard of scurvy, which is a disease that the parrots used to have, it's because they didn't have access to any vitamin C. And as a result, their gums and teeth would often fall out and they'd have really gross skin. So animal products include the liver and the kidneys, plus milk and dairy products, or plant products like citrus fruit, tomato, and leafy green vegetables. Okay, so I'm hoping that you have written down those notes. If not, please go back and write them down, because I will be checking on Wednesday. It is not enough to just sit through and watch this. This is supposed to take you the whole lesson. So you should be able to now describe the function of vitamins and can identify food sources for specific vitamins and apply your understanding of vitamins to real life scenarios. So you're probably wondering, well, I haven't actually done this yet. We're about to. Okay, so I've got an activity for you to do. I'm sure some of you have heard of fad diets, which are, the paleo diet, Atkins diet, the acid diet, pH diet, all of those. So we're going to look at what is missing from this diet, and as a result, what vitamins might be missing. So the first one is the raw food diet. So what foods are missing from this diet, and as a result, what vitamins might be missing. Okay, and we're going to talk about what happens when we don't consume enough vitamins in the next lesson. Once you've written that in your books, I'd like you to move on to the next one, which is the paleo diet. So what foods are missing from this diet, and as a result, what vitamins might be missing as well. Writing it down, again, you can use the information from this PowerPoint to help you identify foods that might be missing. I'd be looking at good sources of vitamins based on what I've done in this PowerPoint, and then to see whether they're actually here in the 2 diets. Once you've done that, you can continue on with independent study. I hope to see you all on Wednesday.